children. So I am here with you all for the lecture 2 for chapter 2 microorganisms. So in the earlier lecture we have discussed about the different types of microbes, what are their shapes and with examples, and some of their characteristics we have already discussed. Now today we are going to discuss about useful microorganisms. As the name of the chapter is microorganisms, friends or foe. So friends means they are helpful, foe means they are harmful. So today in this lecture we will discuss the only useful microorganisms or the uses of microorganisms, right? Okay. So the first use is they are very helpful in making food items. Making food items, now we are going to discuss one by one how and what kind of food items they are helpful in. So they are helpful in food items like curd, cheese, bread, we have already aware about. So the first thing is, we have heard this name, that is lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is the bacteria which help in the formation of curd. How in the formation of curd? Because curd is formed when a protein called curd is formed. This is very important. When a protein called casein is present. This is the protein which has to be present. When a protein called casein present in milk. In the absence of this protein, there will be no formation of curd. Curd will not form at all. So casein, it actually helps to form the clumps together, or we can say the coagulation of milk, clump formation. You might have seen the curd, the small clumps formed when the formation of curd takes place in the morning when we see it. So these clumps are formed due to presence of this protein only, that is casein, right? So we know that how we do. We take milk plus curd. This is the first step, right? Milk plus curd, we know that it contains, what it contains, we are adding the curd in it because now it containing lactobacillus. Now it contains lactobacillus bacteria. Now what will happen? When we will keep it, then lactobacillus multiplies. Right? Then with the multiplication, finally the milk becomes acidic first. The milk becomes acidic. This is the first formation. Then after this, casein coagulate in acidic milk. That protein, casein coagulate in acidic milk. Right? Now when they coagulate, then they form the curd. Here we get the curd, formation of curd. That's it. So these are the steps that how the formation of curd takes place. Very simple. Everybody should know this. Then we have, apart from this, bacteria also act enough. Bacteria also acts enough that we call tenderization of meat, act upon tough meat. You might have seen the meat when it's very tough meat and make it soft. We just convert this tough meat into soft. This process is known as tenderization of meat. Tenderization of meat. Very common thing, tenderization of meat. Then we are having yeast. yeast is we have heard about yeast. These are very important. They are used in the baking industry. Yeast cells are used in baking industries. How they are used in baking industries? We know that they are making breads, pastries, cakes. For baking bread, how we use the yeast? First of all, for baking bread, yeast along with a little sugar is mixed with the flour to make dough. Then the dough will be formed, then the dough will be kept in the warm place. When you will keep it in the warm place, then what will happen? The yeast uses sugar present in the dough as food. Yeast will use the sugar present in the dough as a food. Then it will start growing, and we know that during the breakdown of sugar, carbon dioxide and alcohol are formed. This process is known as fermentation, in which the breakdown of sugar takes place and the carbon dioxide and alcohol forms. This is fermentation. Then the dough will start rising due to the carbon dioxide. But when this dough is used to make bread and is baked, then this carbon dioxide moves out of the dough, and then it will make the loaf, making it light and fluffy, due to which it becomes fluffy. Right? Yeast is also used in making idlis. You might have heard this idlis which we make, dosa also, right? So these are the common household food items which we are using. Then another microorganism, if we talk about algae. Some algae are used as seafood, right? We can take the example of chlorella. This is the example of algae which is used, and seaweeds. They are used as seaweeds are used as food. They are used as food, right? One more other that is a jelly-like substance. It is also a kind of algae. A jelly-like substance, right? It is also a type of algae which is used in making the ice creams, the candies. So this algae is also used, right? So this is the making food item, the use of microorganism in making the food items. Now we are going to discuss about the commercial use. So let's discuss the commercial use of these. So in commercial use, second is commercial use. So if I talk about commercial use, we know that, as I discussed, one process, fermentation. So yeast is used in the formation of alcohol. Yeast is used in the formation of alcohol. That how it produces alcohol. We know that beer, wine, and acetic acid, etc. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars, right? Natural sugars, and it starts taking it as food, and then during its consumption, it produces alcohol and carbon dioxide, and that is known as fermentation, right? Apart from this, some very interesting that thing we are using daily, some bacteria are used in production of tea, coffee also. In production of tea, coffee, etc. Right? That is the second thing. Apart from this, some bacteria take part in the production of some acids. Some bacteria also take part in the formation of some acids, like nitric acid, very common, the acids which are used in the laboratory, citric acid and acetic acid. Right? Not nitric, there is lactic acid, so the natural acids. Lactic acid. So these are the commercial uses. Then the best part of this is medicinal use. Medicinal use means how they are used in the medicines. The first one is production of antibiotics. Production of antibiotics. Very, very important, very, very helpful. Antibiotics, you might have heard the antibiotics whenever somebody falls ill, then doctor always prescribed the antibiotics. So what are these antibiotics? So antibiotics are the medicine which are used or which are produced by the microbes to kill the microbes. Very strange. By the microbes to kill the microbes. Right? So we know that the medicine produced by living organisms such as bacteria and fungi. Bacteria and fungi we are using in the formation of antibiotics, and they are used to kill or stop the growth of disease causing microorganisms. That is known as antibiotics. But they have to be taken very carefully. Some precautions has to be followed. We should not take the antibiotics without the prescription of the qualified doctor, right? Secondly, we should complete the course when we started. Don't leave the course in between. And then we should not take it unnecessarily, right? If we take it unnecessarily, there is no need and we are feeling some like problem in the throat and we are taking antibiotics. No, we should not do that. Because if in future we will be requiring this antibiotic, then they will not work because our body is already habitual of these antibiotics. So it will not be of any use, right? So it will not work properly. So that is the main thing, antibiotics. Then second is production of vaccines. Streptomycin, erythromycin, these are the antibiotics available in the market. And very interesting thing is that antibiotics should not be taken when we are suffering from cold, because they are not able to work on virus, right? They will not kill virus. So that's why antibiotics can work for the bacterial diseases. Then is production of vaccines. Vaccines, we have heard a TV program on the polio vaccination that was occurring all over the world. So that vaccination means we are providing some vaccine from the outside to make the body unable to fight with some particular diseases. That is vaccine. We know that the ability of one's body to fight or to resist a disease is known as immunity. As we are suffering from a pandemic, that is coronavirus, you might have heard this again and again. The immune system should be strong. Immune system should be strong. What is this immune system? Immune system is just the tendency of our body to fight, right? Some soldiers are created in the body when unknown body like a microbe, like a virus enters in the body. Our body starts producing invaders, right? Antigens, like they fight with that, and then if they win, then we will not be infected. We are safe. But if they will not be able to fight, then these viruses, as I told you, virus is a non-living. Okay, it's a link between living and non-living. Virus is non-living, but through the communication, through the air, through the water, through any contact, if it enters inside the body, then that person's body will be a host, and that virus will derive the nutrition from its body and start reproducing. When it will start reproducing and the number of viruses will be more, then it will burst and totally it will affect the body of a person. This is the thing which is happening in coronavirus, we can say, because viruses are always very dangerous, right? So we have to be very careful during this corona pandemic time. So vaccine, you might have heard about this vaccination. जो छोटे बच्चे होते हैं कि they are taken care to the doctors during the birth time also the doctor gives the vaccination. Then after 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, 2 years. So there is vaccination. So these vaccinations are the sources to improve the immunity system of the person. Right? So there are so many diseases which can be controlled by this vaccination. That is polio, right? Hepatitis, influenza, chickenpox. So these all vaccinations are given at time to time. Then we have increasing soil fertility. Dear children, increasing soil fertility. Soil fertility. Because microorganism increases the soil fertility. How they increase? We know that some bacteria like blue-green algae lives in the soil and they fix atmospheric nitrogen into the soil so that the plants can utilize this nitrogen. We have studied in class 7 that plants are unable to use the nitrogen which is present in the atmosphere. So they are using it with the help of these bacteria, blue-green algae, rhizobium, right, which lives in the soil and fixes atmospheric nitrogen in the soluble form so that the plants can utilize it, right? Last but not least, in cleaning the environment. That is the best part of microorganism. Okay, they are very helpful in cleaning the environment. You might have seen, like if we saw a dead animal lying on the roadside, after 2-3 days then only the skeleton is left. So where does the flesh goes? So that is mixed up with the soil with the help of decomposers which are present in the soil, and they are helping in cleaning the environment also. This is very, very important, right? Some bacteria also decompose sewage and other waste of water. So this is a natural method of cleaning the environment. So these are the 5 uses of microorganisms. That's why we say that microorganisms are our friends. Microorganisms are 4 that we will discuss in the next lecture. So the first we discussed about in preparing the food items like bread, cakes, curd, right? Then commercial use discussed in the formation of beer, alcohols, and then bacteria also take part in the formation of some acids like lactic acids. Then medicinal use we know that production of antibiotics and production of vaccines. Then increasing soil fertility, and the last but not the least is in cleaning the environment. So due to these 5 major uses of microorganisms, we can say that these microorganisms are our friends, right? So thank you so much children for watching the video. All the best.